Hi, it's Yvette from Fleur de Treats and Sweets, here to teach you how to make this really cute, really simple, all edible fondant book. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Now, for this book, I did use the pre-packaged Rice Krispie treats that I purchased from my local grocery store because it was so fresh and a little bit bigger than I wanted my book to be. I did take some time out to compress the Rice Krispie treat and to make sure all the sides were really flat and that my Rice Krispie treat was the shape that I wanted. It ended up being 3 inches by 3.5 inches, which was perfect for the cookie, the book that I was making. Not the cookie, it was a book. Now, I did use satin ice tropical fondant for this project because I felt like I love the feel of the tropical fondant that satin ice makes. So I thought it would make a great uh, pages portion of my book. So I did use satin ice tropical fondant. When I was satisfied with the thickness of the fondant, I simply laid my Rice Krispie treat on it and I used my straight edge to cut the sides. I love working on this glass surface because of the lines. The lines help me to keep my project straight and my lines really neat. I didn't use anything on the Rice Krispie treat or the fondant to make them stick together because it was pretty humid in New Orleans when I made it, and the Rice Krispie treat was really, really fresh, so the fondant stuck to it with no problem. Again, I repeated on the other side, cutting my Rice Krispie treat and fondant out so that they match. I used my hands to just smooth it and make sure it was attached. Make sure you use those remnants. I am using cornstarch on my work surface because, as I said, it was a little humid here in NOLA. And so I needed something to keep my fondant from sticking to my work surface. That is a glass work surface that I'm working on. Now you'll see that I'm only going to cover 3 sides of my book because that fourth side will be covered with the fondant used for the cover of the book. I did add some of my ooey gooey glue just to the fondant pieces because I did want them to stick together. Again, using my straight edge to cut off what I don't need. And you'll see that I just cut off that portion because, again, I'm not going to cover that side with white fondant. It'll be covered when I get ready to cover the book itself. Make sure you use your fondant smoother to make sure you have a good stick between your fondant and your Rice Krispie treat, and to make sure that all of your sides are flat, even, and neat. I did use brown fondant for this project, but I suggest that you use whatever color the event is. Try and match the event um, palette with the book or whatever you're making. I did roll this brown fondant out a little bit thicker because I wanted my book cover to be formidable. Now, I didn't like that side of the fondant, so I flipped it over and decided to use the other side. I definitely check to make sure placement is right before I cut. Check twice, cut once. And I love this glass board that I bought from Michael's. It's a great surface to work on, and I love the lines. I did have to add some of my glue so that my book cover would stick to my book. Using that straight edge again, leave a little excess all the way around because you want, your book cover to kind of protrude a little bit past your actual book. Again, check twice, cut once. Adding a little more glue to the surface so that my brown fondant will stick to my white fondant. I did add some glue to the fondant on the inside of the book as well. And you'll see once I pick the book up that I really didn't need to put fondant on that other side. The brown fondant covered it just fine. Now I did use this echo tool to make the binding portion of the book to make it look more realistic. Make sure you turn it over and do it on the other side. I like to put like a little indentation on the edge of the book. It just makes it look a little bit more realistic. I did start out using my echo tool, making scores in the white fondant for the paper. Go crazy on this part. I did switch to the Dresden tool because I just felt like it was going to give me a little bit more control, and it gave some variation in how deep, shallow I went to make my pages. So I'd suggest using the Dresden tool if you haven't, and if not, use whatever you have. Make sure you catch the edges of the book to make those pages. I did stick the tool into the back of the book because I wanted to kind of give it a rounded look, which made it seem, more authentic. I curled the edges of my pages also, the cover of my book rather. I didn't show, but I did dust some dark gray on the book to just make it look a little weathered and worn. You can do that if you'd like. If not, it's perfectly fine like this. Hope you enjoyed it. Please tag me and remember, like and share. Follow me on TikTok. Thank you so much. Have a good one.